Hey everybody, welcome back to microbeerreviews.com. Tonight, once again, Sierra Nevada is bringing you one of their pinnacle beers. This is the barrel-aged Narwhal, now available in these 16-ounce cans. It comes in a 4-pack. Packaging looks very similar to what it's looked like for the past, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years. It's got the narwhal kind of busting through. It's got a ship in the background. It's a really cool label. So, Sierra Nevada, based out of California as well as North Carolina. So, this is one of those beers where, again, Sierra Nevada has done some really cool things with it over the years. Used to be only available in big bomber bottles, and they were very expensive, close to $20 a bottle. And they were also extremely hard to find. They'd hit the beer craft store, and within hours, they were gone. So on their website, we are now told in 2020, these will be available year-round, which is really interesting because they're not going to be barrel-aged in these, barrels that are quite honestly hard to find. But pretty cool because for $20 for the 4-pack, for 4 of these 16-ounce cans, you're going to have some pretty good stuff inside of it. So the gist of this beer, it's a big one. It's 10.2% ABVs. I've used are actually 60, and for a big stout like this, that's pretty high. You've got Challenger and Magnum hops in it. It's got 2 real pale malts, caramelized chocolate, and honey roasted malts, which are pretty common for Sierra Nevada. So what's really cool about their website before we break into the beers, it talks about, this Imperial Stout is inspired by creatures in the deep fathoms, hence the narwhal. Narwhals, just as a little FYI, they're a protected species, but the native Eskimos can still harvest a percentage of them for holidays and certain rituals that they have, which I think is pretty cool, actually. They protect them, they're around, they're a really cool creature. It's a great name for an Imperial Stout beer. So it's got a rich in espresso, cocoa, roasted grains. They say there's a little hint of smoke, which I struggle with in a lot of these beers because I think a lot of the malts really bring that out. But it's supposed to be, again, the goal that they're trying to do is bring an Imperial Stout that's velvetly smooth, decadent with the chocolate, and can age over time as well. And that's really hard to do these days. So many of these brewing companies are doing, the best they can to bring you a quality product, but then they say, well, give it some time to age, and I've really started to struggle with that because it's almost like they want to hide something. So this beer is not new. This beer has been around with Sierra Nevada for many years. I reviewed this beer, I want to say back in 2000 and maybe 15, and that was back when you walked in, and if you were really lucky to grab a bomber bottle, you just, did a quick jig. So I haven't cheated. I have not had the new version. I have not tried this, but let's get into the glass and see what we have. So again, this pours like a classic Imperial Stout. It's black. Nice color on the head, not a lot of carbonation, a real pretty cocoa head on it, laces the glass, it should, it's 10%. Sierra Nevada is really good about filtering their beers, and they have a little bit more carbonation than some of the other beers, but at the same time, a lot of people recently, and it's just like within the last year, have been really hard on Sierra Nevada because they're a beer. They're a brewery that I basically label as they please the masses, but they please the masses at a phenomenal price point. This is not a phenomenal price point. This is $5.50 after taxes per can, but at the same time, they know what they're doing to brew really good beer. So I realize that was a long introduction, but let's check it out. So it's what a stout should be. It's malty, it's roasty, it's got some vanilla, chocolate, coffee, bitterness. It smells really good. I mean, this is This is what a stout should smell like. There's not anything that's overplaying any of the other aromas. It's a really good blend, but it's bold. It's malt. It's got a lot of punch to it, and it smells great. The vanilla background to it, maybe a little bit of coconut in there. It smells awesome. So cheers. Let's get in the glass. I mean, it's hard to reproduce a stout like this. It's got a big mouthfeel to it. It's coats your palate with a really nice coffee bitterness. It's got a nice cocoa chocolate to it. Again, there's definitely a little bit of coconut. I remember this from this beer in the past. It's just got a real smoothness to it that's hard to do with stouts. It's very malty. So, and that's what I remember about this beer. It's just got a lot of roastiness to it, which it is at times in your palate, and then the finish a little bit overpowering. I really like the way it just drinks. There's no booziness to it. There's no burn to it. At 10.2%, it just does a really good job of a very well balanced stout. Why I am more impressed with the stout though is Sierra Nevada's decision to put it in these cans. If they put this in this can, and you don't have to buy a $20 bottle, you have at most a $6 can, and you want to just have 16 ounces, you're a winner. Have this, you're good. So, I mean, this is a huge win for Sierra Nevada. It's supposed to be available year round. It's got a nice flavor to it. It's really strong in the stout market. 2019, I had, out of my top 10 beers, I think I had 4 or 5 stouts. And this deserves to be in it. So this ranks up with 1050. It's very different. 1050 is not nearly as malty. It's got a different kind of slick little flavor to it that this doesn't, but it's a phenomenal representation of a well done stout. Even at $20 a 4-pack, I'd highly recommend it. I rate my beers between 1 and 5. I'd give this a 4.5. I want to give it a 5, but there's just a little bit of over maltness to it that if they could tone that down just a smidge, it would be an outright 5. So let me know if you tried it. This to me does taste differently than the other versions I've had before. So please leave me comments, subscribe if you haven't already. We upload all the time. We appreciate you watching, and as always, we'll see you again real soon. Cheers.